Hey there everybody, welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. I'm Jacob Letman. Before we get started with this video, I'm going to save you some money on your gasoline if you'd like. That's right. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? I'm cooking up some gas discounts for you. Alright, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to go into the video description below. And we have a link there that you're going to click on. It is going to take you so you can download the GetUpside app. You're going to use our sign-up code. You're going to get 15 cents back per gallon initially on your first fill-up. And then you're going to continue to get gas discounts as long as you use the app. It's that easy. Keep that change, put it in a box or a cup, and take yourself to the Bahamas. Also, before we get going, 20,000 subscribers now on the Rideshare Hub channel. So thanks to all of you, you wonderful people, you. We're happy to have you. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is your opportunity to subscribe to the channel so that you can get updates anytime that we come out with fantastic new Rideshare Hub, Rideshare information. All things Rideshare. Everything that you can think of, including what bubblegum to chew while driving your passengers. It's there. Actually, I don't think it is, but we should make a video on that. All right. Hey, what we're talking about today, I'm going to let you, I'm going to get a little vulnerable with you guys. That's right. A little vulnerable. I'm going to let you know my 3 biggest mistakes that I have made since driving for Lyft. 3 years, 3 biggest mistakes, and we're going to take it back right to the beginning. So, initially, my first biggest mistake, and right now by watching this video, you are already making better choices than I did. So my first biggest mistake was I did not do enough research on rideshare driving in general when I first signed up. I was living in Southern California. I was teaching golf full-time. I was making some good money. I was taking acting classes. I'm super passionate about acting. And I was picked up by an agent, and I kept having all these audition opportunities come up, and I couldn't take them because I was working a 9-to-5 job. And I was like, well, shoot. So what am I going to do about this? So I knew that I wanted to start pursuing acting full-time, but I also knew that with an industry like acting, there is a lot of up and downs financially. Starving actor is a phrase for a reason. Been there. Thankfully, I got some SpaghettiOs in my cupboard right now, so it's okay. Anyway, so I was like, what am I going to do to continue to pay my bills while I pursue acting? And to back up a little bit, before I was living in Southern California, I had just moved out there from Montana. And I was in Montana going to school and living there a year after, so I was there for 5 years. Uber, Lyft, non-existent in that part of the world at that time. Just wasn't a thing. So I moved out to Southern California, and it was probably at about 10 months there that I started to look at acting full-time. So I knew very little about Uber and Lyft as a whole. But I had heard of it. I knew people did it part-time. You could make some good money, maybe, maybe not. So I did some research, but there's also a lot of, I don't want to say misinformation out there. There's a lot of veteran drivers. There are a lot of new drivers. There are a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of articles. The problem with this industry is that there's so much inconsistency from city to city, region to region. It can be completely different worlds. I mean, rates are different in different areas. There are so many intricacies and inconsistencies to driving for rideshare. And until you've driven for a while, yeah, you just don't know. So I was getting a lot of conflicting information. And I'm like, I think I can make $15 an hour, but I don't really know. Some people say they don't make that, and some people say 30 an hour. So I had no idea. And now the problem with getting into it without doing a lot of research is that I made a lot of mistakes initially, like driving at the wrong times of day, driving in the wrong places, driving around looking for rides, wasting gas. sitting in the airport queue for too many freaking hours that I wish I could get back desperately. I would do different things with those hours in my life. Maybe jog. Anyway, so I didn't do enough research initially, and that was my first biggest mistake, because then I had to learn things the hard way, and you're not going to know everything. The timing's never going to be right to make a jump like that, but I could have actively continued to seek out information, and I would have learned quicker, I bet. So, mistake 1. Mistake number 2. And that is my vehicle. I love my Mazda. 2015 Mazda 3 Sport. She's a sweet car. I keep her in great condition. At the time when I signed up to drive for Lyft, I was like, well, can I drive the vehicle I have now? It's a 2000 Chevy Malibu with 200,000 miles. No, that won't work? Okay, shoot. And her name was Gertrude, by the way. Rest in peace, Gertrude. Rest in peace. Anyway, couldn't drive with Gertrude, so I needed a vehicle. And that is something I could have done a lot of research on. I didn't know how many miles I was going to put on it. I didn't know what I should be looking for. I just knew that I needed something that was newer, and I wanted to have something that I could rely on, that I wasn't worried about taking into the shop all the time. So, definitely could be worse, but the situation is this. So, I got this vehicle 3 years ago, probably almost to the day, actually. And I got it with, it was $15,000 Kelley Blue Book. I was able to get it for $13,000, including tax. So that was solid. Had 40,000 miles on it. Fast forward to now. I have 2 years of payments left on it. I've put on 100,000 miles, and it has now depreciated to where it's worth maybe as much as I still owe on it. So, but you can see over the next 2 years, right? Now it's got 140,000 miles on it. Things start to need to be replaced. I still owe for 2 years on it. It's going to continue to depreciate if I keep driving as much as I do. And I'm going to owe more. So it's like, gets into this very hairy situation. So we have more detailed videos, by the way, that I implore you to watch on how to choose the best rideshare vehicle for you. There are many things to take into consideration. Ideally, short summary, I would say if I would go back, I would have looked for something in the $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 range that I could have either paid cash for or gotten a small loan for and paid off pretty quickly. I wouldn't have felt as bad putting a lot of miles on it and kind of running it into the ground, essentially. I wouldn't have done things like suspension repairs on it. You know, you have to do things like tires and brakes, obviously, but if there was something like that came up, you know, you just kind of run the vehicle like that into the ground. And then you drive it as hard as you can, it's already paid off, and then say some big repair comes up, you still sell it for $1,000, you know, $1,500, someone will pick it up. Anyway, point being, that vehicle is a huge part of rideshare driving, as you know, and I wish I would have done more research and had a better idea and had this channel to guide me into making a different decision. So watch those videos if that's something you're concerned about. And then third biggest mistake, and that is that I have neglected driving the big events. And that is for a couple of reasons. Sometimes it's laziness. Sometimes it's because when I first started driving, I drove a lot, and I drove a lot of nights and weekends and events, and I've done them, and I know what they're about, and I know what the waits are like, and how it can be tough trying to find your person, and there's a lot of traffic and this and that. But there's also a lot of reward to those events if you're willing to put up with that. To give you an example, here in Scottsdale, Arizona, for my golf fans, we have what's called the Waste Management Open. It's a huge golf tournament here. It draws the biggest crowds of any golf tournament there is. So think a football game. Football game has like 75,000 people in the stadium. This golf tournament, 200,000 people a day. Most golf tournaments, big ones, 100,000 people a day. This one is double that. It's insane, and they have concerts going. They had the Chainsmokers last year. It's crazy. It's like 4 days of just insanity, and the surges are huge. And last year I did drive it, and my point is that I'm getting at, I probably made $300 in a night, driving for, we'll say, 6 hours. So you can make your biggest returns. You can be the most efficient driver if you look at those big events, you're willing to work them. So if that's what you're looking to do, be efficient as a driver, which a lot of drivers are, which that's the smart thing to do. Look for those events, sporting events, concerts. What else goes on that are big events? Sporting events and concerts. That's what I got. Riots? No, just kidding. But anyway, look for those things. If you're willing to work the big events, you can make a lot of money. And also holidays, New Year's Eve, Halloween, big one. So that's right around the corner, although a lot of those big parties were probably past weekend. Anyway, yes, those are my biggest mistakes, you all. Thank you for listening to my vulnerability. If you would like to open up and share about your biggest mistakes that you've made while driving rideshare, we would love to hear those. Jump down into the comment section below. Get at us with that information. And this is the Rideshare Hub. I'm Jacob Letman, and until the next time, everybody, drive safe out there.